Main Quotes presents Dalai Lama's Secret Quotes. The ultimate authority must always rest with the individual's own reason and critical analysis. When you are discontent, you always want more. Your desire can never be satisfied, but when you practice contentment, you can say to yourself, "Oh yes, I already have everything that I really need." Calm mind brings inner strength and self-confidence, so that's very important for good health. Home is where you feel at home and are treated well. Look at situations from all angles and you will become more open. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. All major religious traditions carry basically the same message. That is, love, compassion, and forgiveness. The important thing is they should be part of our daily lives. The purpose of our lives is to be happy. Today, more than ever before, life must be characterized by a sense of universal responsibility, not only nation to nation and human to human, but also human to other forms of life. We all have to live together, so we might as well live together happily. More compassionate mind, more sense of concern for others' well-being is source of happiness. Sleep is the best meditation. Because of lack of moral principle, human life becomes worthless. Moral principle, truthfulness, is a key factor. If we lose that, then there is no future. Disagreement is something normal. If you have a particular faith or religion, that is good, but you can survive without it. A lack of transparency results in distrust and a deep sense of insecurity. Sometimes one creates a dynamic impression by saying something, and sometimes one creates as significant an impression by remaining silent. The important thing is that men should have a purpose in life. It should be something useful, something good. It is necessary to help others not only in our prayers, but in our daily lives. If we find we cannot help others, the least we can do is to desist from harming them. I find hope in the darkest of days and focus in the brightest. I do not judge the universe. Appearance is something absolute, but reality is not that way. Everything is interdependent, not absolute. So that view is very helpful to maintain a peace of mind, because the main destroyer of a peaceful mind is anger. Logically, harmony must come from the heart. Harmony very much based on trust. As soon as use force creates fear, fear and trust cannot go together. We can never obtain peace in the outer world until we make peace with ourselves. Love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive. Old friends pass away, new friends appear. It is just like the days. An old day passes, a new day arrives. The important thing is to make it meaningful, a meaningful friend, or a meaningful day. Our prime purpose in this life is to help others. And if you can't help them, at least don't hurt them. World belongs to humanity, not this leader, that leader or that king or prince or religious leader. World belongs to humanity. In the practice of tolerance, one's enemy is the best teacher. If you can, help others. If you cannot do that, at least do not harm them. I've always had this view about the modern education system. We pay attention to brain development, but the development of warm-heartedness we take for granted. It is very important to generate a good attitude, a good heart, as much as possible. From this, happiness in both the short term and the long term, for both yourself and others, will come. Too much self-centered attitude, brings, isolation. Result, loneliness, fear, anger. The extreme self-centered attitude is the source of suffering. I think technology really increased human ability, but technology cannot produce compassion. There is no need for temples, no need for complicated philosophies. My brain and my heart are my temples. My philosophy is kindness. When we meet real tragedy in life, we can react in two ways, either by losing hope and falling into self-destructive habits, or by using the challenge to find our inner strength. Thanks to the teachings of Buddha, I have been able to take this second way. Whether you call it Buddhism or another religion, self-discipline, that's important. Self-discipline with awareness of consequences. In order to become prosperous, a person must initially work very hard, so he or she has to sacrifice a lot of leisure time. We can live without religion and meditation, but we cannot survive without human affection. Generally speaking, if a human being never shows anger, then I think something's wrong. He's not right in the brain. All religions try to benefit people with the same basic message of the need for love and compassion, for justice and honesty, for contentment. My faith helps me overcome such negative emotions and find my equilibrium. Even an animal, if you show genuine affection, gradually trust develops. If you always showing bad face and beating, how can you develop friendship? The Chinese government wants me to say that for many centuries Tibet has been part of China. Even if I make that statement, many people would just laugh, and my statement will not change past history. History is history. Be kind whenever possible. It is always possible. In order to carry a positive action, we must develop here a positive vision. The roots of all goodness lie in the soil of appreciation for goodness. When you practice gratefulness, there is a sense of respect toward others. As a human being, anger is a part of our mind. Irritation also part of our mind. But you can do anger come go. Never keep in your your inner world, then create a lot of suspicion, a lot of distrust, a lot of negative things, more worry. Out of 6 billion humans, the troublemakers are just a handful. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. Even when we have physical hardships, we can be very happy. Death means change our clothes. Clothes become old, then time to come change. So this body become old, and then time come take young body. With realization of one's own potential and self-confidence in one's ability, one can build a better world. The best way to resolve any problem in the human world is for all sides to sit down and talk. Whether one believes in a religion or not, and whether one believes in rebirth or not, there isn't anyone who doesn't appreciate kindness and compassion. My religion is very simple. My religion is kindness. This is my simple religion. There is no need for temples, no need for complicated philosophy. Our own brain, our own heart is our temple. The philosophy is kindness. I am just one human being. Where ignorance is our master, there is no possibility of real peace. Open-minded people tend to be interested in Buddhism because Buddha urged people to investigate things. He didn't just command them to believe. The Tibetan people will need to determine who the next reincarnation of the Dalai Lama is. China has to go along with world trends. That's democracy, liberty, individual freedom. China sooner or later has to go that way. It cannot go backward. I think really Chinese, I think they really have a long history of civilization, rich culture. Some mischievous people always there. Last several thousand years, always there. In future also. Computers make me totally blank out. I am confident I will set foot again in Tibet in my lifetime. Of course, when I say that human nature is gentleness, it is not 100% so. Every human being has that nature, but there are many people acting against their nature, being false. I always believed the rule by king or official leader is outdated. Now we must catch up with the modern world. I think there's every reason this 21st century will be much happier. A number of people have said to me after hearing your thinking, their mind becomes much more happier. I became the Dalai Lama, not on a volunteer basis. My aim is to create a happy society with genuine friendship. Friendship between Tibetan and Chinese peoples is very essential. I totally disagree with the view that the Tibet struggle will die, and there will be no hope for Tibet after the Dalai Lama passes away. Religion, any religion, no matter what sort of wonderful religion, never be universal. So now education is universal. So we have to sort of find ways and means through education system, from kindergarten up to university level, to make awareness these good things, the values, inner values, inner values, inner values. Physical comforts cannot subdue mental suffering, and if we look closely, we can see that those who have many possessions are not necessarily happy. In fact, being wealthy often brings even more anxiety. If some people have the belief or view that the Dalai Lama has some miracle power, that's totally nonsense. I have no trouble sleeping. In most cases, my visits to the West are for promotion of human values and religious harmony. If I had remained in Lhasa, even without the Chinese occupation, I would probably have carried the ceremonial role in some orthodox way. My desire to devolve authority has nothing to do with a wish to shirk responsibility. There are techniques of Buddhism, such as meditation, that anyone can adopt. And of course, there are Christian monks and nuns who already use Buddhist methods in order to develop their devotion, compassion, and ability to forgive. I consider myself as a free spokesman for the people. Even when a person has all of life's comforts, good food, good shelter, a companion, he or she can still become unhappy when encountering a tragic situation. My main hope is eventually, in modern education field, introduce education about warm-heartedness, not based on religion, but based on common experience and a common sort of sense, and then scientific finding. One thing I want to make clear, as far as my own rebirth is concerned, the final authority is myself and no one else, and obviously not China's communists.